For every child to have a better future, it requires the parent to send the child to school. Fatsani Banda is one of the youngsters who does not go to school because of financial problem. He comes from a family of 5 children. His father died some years ago. His mother is blind. She is not able to provide for the family, and most of the times they stay without food. This forced Fatsani to go in town to work for food. Every day, Fatsani comes to this place to help cleaning dishes in order for him to have something to eat. Net and Counselling, Yoneco, through its program called Remain in School Initiative, which aimed at sending back street kids to school and also teaching them special skills after school hours to keep them busy for them not to go back to the streets. Every day, Yoneco staff members are sent to town to look for the needy children for this program. It was Fatsani's lucky day when a staff member from Yoneco came to this place asking for those kids who were helpless. The owner of the place did not take time to point at Fatsani since she knew all his problems. After a long discussion, Fatsani was taken to his home where the Yoneco staff member had to seek for permission from his mother to take him to be one of the beneficiaries of this program. Irene Banda, the mother to Fatsani, felt relieved, and she was happy to hear that her son will benefit from the Yoneco program, and she's so grateful to Yoneco. Fatsani was then taken to be enrolled in one of the schools in town. Fatsani was also introduced to Yoneco Children's Band, which aimed at keeping street children busy when they are out of school, and in another way, teaching them how to sing and play instruments. Fatsani chose to learn bass guitar. After some time and through intensive training, Fatsani knew how to play a bass guitar. Fatsani and his 12 friends, who were also street kids, have produced a music DVD to show their talents to the world.
Kulia
Knowing that it is difficult for children and adolescents to express their feelings and emotions, Yoneco has come up with another program called Psychotherapy. Mrs. Ziovu is one of the officers in this program.
Psychotherapy is like trying to understand or providing a therapy or a treatment to children or someone or even an individual who is psychologically traumatized, so that that person is capable of behaving normally as any other person. And what we usually use or do in psychotherapy, we've got different approaches, particularly here at Yoneco. When I'm doing my activities in relation to psychotherapy, usually I use art therapy, play therapy, music therapy, and sometimes even talking, which is like expressive, enabling them to express themselves through writings, poems, and even stories, sharing stories or experiences. In drawing, I ask the children, after identifying some issues amongst the children who come to attend our sessions, and those identified children are given papers, pencils, and crayons so that they can express themselves on the paper. Because, you know, children have got challenges or problems in expressing themselves verbally, and that tendency may make you as a therapist or someone who is doing counseling to miss some of the critical issues that are affecting those children. So when they are drawing, I just go around monitoring, assisting them here and there, and after their drawings, I pick up the papers, and after picking them, I try to now start analyzing each and every paper to see if there are more issues which have been expressed on the paper. And if I happen to identify an issue which is worthy to be probed more or being discussed with the client, I then call the client in my office to allow him tell me more about the pictures or the drawings. What are they talking about? What are the issues in the paper? So in that process, it helps me to understand the child more. And if I happen to identify some other issues which may require immediate identification, I help the child to deal with the issues. For example, if there are emotional issues to do with maybe, for example, anger or aggressive behaviors, I try to help that particular child to positively handle those issues in an appropriate manner without offending others or maybe harming himself or herself. And by the end of the day, with the discussions and analyzing, it happens that the child is helped by the end of the day. You find the child that will appreciate that I think the session has really helped me. For example, I had a session with this child on 21st of January this year. When I tried to ask more about this picture, she told me that this picture is Chikumbuso, that's her name, and as you can see, it is showing that she is smiling. And when I tried to ask him more about her smile, she said, I was happy when my mother told me that she's going to enroll me to a primary school. And she further continued explaining that this is the place where she went with her mother, the school. This structure is the school where she went with her mother. And this is her mother. And this is Chikumbuso. And she's still smiling because the teacher now has accepted her that she has to be enrolled for primary school. So this picture is showing the happy moments or the happiest moment which she ever had in her life. While this picture, she was explaining the saddest moment which she will never forget. And here she was explaining that these pictures, these drawings her friends who came to chat with her, to play with her, and this is herself. And she said while they were playing, this friend offended her, and after being offended, she thought it was that the best way to correct her friend was throwing a stone at her. This is a stone, and as you can see, this picture is showing that the child was hurt and she's crying. These small dots are tears coming down, and she further continued explaining that when her mother heard that the friend was crying, the mother came out and asked what was happening. And as you can see this picture, it is showing some question marks, indicating that she was regretting that what have I done now? Look, we were playing okay, and now I've ended up hurting my friend. And now the mother, after knowing that her child has done harm to her friend, she started beating her. This is the same girl. She said, "This is me. My mother is beating me, and here I'm crying." As you can see, these dots showing tears. And she said, she further continued saying that my mother, this day, she beat me severely, up to the extent that the stick which she was using, it broke up in 2 pieces. These stripes here, the pieces of the broken stick which her mother was using, which is an indication that this event was a very traumatic period. Each time she remembers what happened here, she feels hurt or she feels angry about her mother. Because when I was trying to probe more about how she felt about her mother, she said, each time I see her, my mom, the time I was seeing her, I was perceiving her as a beast. After understanding the way she felt, I tried to help the child that she should relate what happened and the treatment which she got from her mother. And first of all, I tried to explain that it's not right and proper to hurt your friend or maybe hit or scold someone when she has offended you. She has to find a right way of normalizing that problem rather than doing it in an appropriate manner, because throwing a stone to someone is not good. So she was able to understand that when someone has offended her, she has to display her anger in the right manner. And here I came to make her understand why the mother was beating her. And I explained to her that the mother was not wrong in beating her, because she was trying to correct her from her wrong mistakes which she did, so that next time she should not repeat the same mistake. And I helped her to understand her mother and appreciate what the mother was doing. But I still have to conduct another session with the mother, because what I noted here is that the mother has got poor approaches in behavior modification, or she doesn't know the right way of correcting her child, because she's using punitive treatment like whipping or corporal punishment, which we can say in short. So corporal punishment or any punitive treatments to children, they are not good, because by the end of the day it will have a negative impact on the child. So I'm arranging a session with the mother, so that we can have a good time with the mother on parenting skills and helping her to understand the best way of correcting a child when he has done something wrong, rather than using punitive treatment.
Yoneco also introduced another program called Batik, which teaches the children the art talents such as drawing and painting. Through this program, these children were taught different skills and design of products such as these. Yoneco also gives a chance to elderly mothers, domestic workers, teen mothers, and all those who have a passion to learn how to read and write to enroll at their adult literacy school. Knowing that counseling is required in all aspects of life, Yoneco introduced Tandizani Helpline, a toll-free number which is dialed using both landline and a mobile phone for urgent help. Mese Makondesa is another Yoneco staff member who works in this helpline section.
The Tandizani Helpline was established in 2006. It was launched on 9th September. It is aimed at providing counseling, face-to-face counseling and online counseling to youths, children, even women, on issues of HIV/AIDS, human rights, child abuse, sexual reproductive health, and other issues that affect youth and children on their day-to-day lives. These issues, especially on development, we usually, if they are within those districts that Yoneco is operating, officers in those districts are able to follow up those issues with the police officers from Victim Support Unit. That's a community policing department. There is an office that concerns children, which is called the Victim Support Unit. So we don't follow up on our own. We usually go to Victim Support Unit and we get one police officer and go to the place where sometimes we found the child that she has been deferred, and we usually took the child to hospital, get a medical report, then back to police, and the case is being referred to court. We have received over 60,000 calls from children, youths, even adults.
Yoneco is committed to empowering the youth, women and children, combating the spread of HIV, mitigating the impact of AIDS, and promoting human rights and democracy for socio-economic development.